Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are back in War Thunder and we're looking at the other new tank map, Mozdok, which is quite an interesting one. I kind of like it. I'm a bit split when it comes to spawn points, but everything else I'm very positive about. We were testing it yesterday in a squad. We basically set up a custom battle and I was just looking around and having a view of the area, and overall it looks like an actual tank battleground. Now, what do I mean by that? Basically, it's quite flat. It has decent terrain for tanks to move around. It has little dips, it has little valleys, and basically you can get into a position like here, where you can sit here and nothing can really shoot you except for the turret, and if you crest the ridge, it means that you expose your tank, but it means you can shoot back. It's definitely going to be an interesting map. I'm not sure about how the offense and defense is going to work too well on this map, because it seems like a map that can be easily contested, but also a map which, well, it can easily be defended. But the main thing I want to talk about at the moment is the spawn points. When you spawn from the blue side, you can shoot towards C pretty well. If you see anybody on these embankments over there, it's very easy to pop a shot at them, and even around C itself, so that's a bit of an issue. But everywhere else seems to be fine. There is a decent amount of these little hills, and a decent amount of valleys, which if you want to hide in, you are able to. The trenches are an indication, which maybe we shall see troops or AT guns or something in the future, which would be nice, but right now they're just kind of annoying for tanks to get over, which is also another mechanic which is quite nice to have. There is obviously not as much destructible terrain compared to Poland on this, but there's still a ton of trees and everything like that. So let's get into the tactical side of this map. At the start of the game, you have AI tanks all over the place. They basically capture A and B at the start, so that gives objectives for people to push for. You either start at A and move across, try and attack C, because it seems like A is a decent position for blue to attack from, same as the red side for B. And then there you go, you see a nice BT7, a T26, and whatever that is, I can't remember. It's a big ass tank, whatever it is. But at A, you can easily push towards C. It does leave you quite open though. A thing I like about this map, there is not too many positions where you can basically ambush lines of tanks from. It is really nice to see because it's a nice contrast to Poland. Poland, in the village setting, it's very much like guerrilla warfare. You poke yourself out, you hit, you move back, you keep doing that. It's a lot more street fighting orientated, where this, being quite a map which is flat, it's less about that and more about full-on tank assaults. If you can get your team all moving onto the same position at once, oh, it can be absolutely glorious, as I've done quite a few times on this map. But pushing towards C, the spawn or the capture points are quite close, but it's still quite a treacherous journey. Once you come over this hill, as you can see, there is some nice howitzer guns here, some artillery guns. So they're probably going to have troops on at some point in the future, I would think. But pushing from A to C is quite hard, but it seems to be mirrored on the B side. On the B side, you have a slightly smaller hill, but it's basically the same. I can see a lot of people using these ridges to attack people, but then that leaves your flank exposed to for people who come around. Do you see how whatever position you take in this map, you're going to be vulnerable from one side or another, which is nice to see. It's not a map that is easy to lock down, unless maybe you have a tank destroyer or something sat about here, or around this area. Oh, we've got the AI shooting back. How about we plant one right into your side? Critical hit, set him on fire, good hit. But basically, unless you have tank destroyers littering these trees over here or littering here, it's going to be a rough time for you to try and defend C. But that's where planes come in. And that's where tactics come in, because it means that you can push through there. It means that you can push through there with tanks. You can even push around to B if you think that they're exposed. Or you can basically bomb them to hell when it comes to planes coming in. Another thing I'd like to add, the only unbalanced bit of the map I see is this part. It seems like the trek from B to C is a lot easier to do than A to C. Because as you see, we have this huge hill in the way from B to C. But with A, we do not have that, which is a bit of an issue. I'm just going to capture this, otherwise the AI is going to take it. Let's just take a shot at that dude. Unfortunately, we missed, but as we see from here, all you have to do is go down that path, and you're basically at C. At A, it's a bit more treacherous, because you're open to barrage from these hills, because there isn't really a hill blocking you. These hills over here seem to be higher than the hills over there. So it's kind of an issue. It's a bit of an issue, not a huge one. And also, we can talk about the AI tanks. If they are left to roam, the red side obviously has an advantage, as we can see here. It takes the blue tanks a longer time to get from A to B than it does the red tanks from B to A. Mainly because they have to go around this hill, which is here, and the red tanks don't. So this map is slightly favouring the red side, in my opinion. Mainly because you have more cover, you can move more freely without getting attacked, and you have more ridges which you can crest and go up from. Even the spawn point for red is covered by this huge hill if you want, or you can just go down here and go straight towards C. Where with the other side, it's very much flat ground. It means that a few tank destroyers just sat on a ridge, such as here, can wreak havoc on the enemy army. But also, because at the blue side, you can you can shoot at enemies near C. It basically means that you can negate them if you want to. You can take them out without much issue. But it's not hard to crest these hills. It's actually quite easy to go over them. And if you get a Stug or a Zis or anything like that up here, you're going to wreak havoc. As we can see, you can see the enemy spawn point. There it is, right there, or at least one of them. The other one is over here, but you can shoot there too. So if you can lock down this as the red team, it will be very easy to defend. Obviously that means coordination, and in random battles you don't really get that. A nice spinning biplane right there. We go straight through it, obviously, since it has hit the ground. And you are once again going to B, and our allies are going to A. So we shall see if... Oh, the hostile team has lost all vehicles. So what we'll do is we'll get into a plane. But overall, when it comes to the ground battle, I'd say it's quite balanced, apart from red can really basically use the hills to their advantage. Whereas the blue team has to cross a flat land, which can be tough, but there are grooves which you can sit in. But anyway, let's get into the air. So here we are in the air in the IL-4, a lovely Russian medium bomber, and we can see all the biplanes with us. As we see once again, you do spawn quite far away from the battle, but it doesn't take you a long time to get there. Another thing to note, which is the same as Poland, is the fact that you have hardly any AA on each side, meaning that it is more down to the player once again to take out planes and stuff like that, which is good to see. You also start off with BF-109s, Ju-87, all AI running around, but they're not going to do a lot. They will probably try and take out each other, but that's really about it. The light tanks on the ground aren't going to once again do a lot, except for what we saw in the tank section, where they will take the two areas. So if a keen guy in realistic can get in there first, it means that you have an advantage straight away when it comes to taking the zones, like if I can do right here. But the thing is, if I do this, the map will end very quickly. But I will demonstrate, I won't drop the bombs, but I will show you that it's very easy to take out all the AA, because they obviously go to the same point. So bang, 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 and taken out. Another thing to note about this map is that the basically the capture zones are very much open compared to the Polish map, which means that I think planes are definitely going to have a higher role when it comes to the battle. As we can see, it is very easy to drop all your bombs on C and A or B because there's nothing really much covering it. And therefore, when we see tanks coming at us, let's say that we're on the red side and we're holding C, it's easy for a bomber, if people are staying here, to hit them here, to hit them as they're crossing the field, or to even spawn camp them, which is kind of a bad thing. But there's nothing stopping the blue side doing exactly the same thing. This battle may come down to who has the most planes or who has the most tanks, depending on how we use them. A few guys are on fire there, which isn't good, but that's just kind of how it is. But as I said, look at the AA. There's only 5 pockets of it, and they're not going to do a lot to your planes. Obviously, it's easier to hit a larger plane that I'm in, but they're not going to do anything massive to you, and it's very easy to take them out. All it would take is one fighter to do a nice strafing run, and all of them are dead. And that's just kind of how it is on the new maps. I like it. I understand a lot of players probably won't like it, because, well, it means that you have less support for your tanks. But that means it's down to the player to sort that out, to bring out those SPAAs and destroy them. But once again, with these AI tanks, look how easy it is to take them out. I could destroy all of them with these 12 bombs, just carpet bomb them and destroy them. But we're just going to drop all the bombs once again, just showing how you can cover a decent area of the map, nothing massive, but you also have the opportunity to take out the bases as well. So overall, with planes in this map, it's going to be quite interesting to see who gets ground control. If people can establish ground control, that is a great thing, but I think because planes overall have the say in this map, it's not going to really mean a lot. But obviously communication between planes and tankers is going to be a massive thing. Let's say that the blue team, let's say these AI tanks are deciding to push C. You tell your bombers to go and bomb it, you take everything out in the vicinity, and then, well, the tanks can just roll in. There is nothing really stopping planes dominating this map, unless the enemy team does something about it. And because it's flat ground, there is not a lot that any team can really hide. They can't hide down these little like little pathways, as we see. I can just drop bombs all the way down it, and there's nothing there's nothing you can really do about it. And that is your cover on the side of the map. These hills, once again, look, I can easily set up a run which just decimates everything you have. So what I was talking about before with the tank destroyers may not come into play because, well, the planes may just dominate the tank destroyers in these lines, in these trees. But you never know. Something weird may happen. Every match is different, but that's just my opinion when it comes to this map. I think fighters will play a decent role, basically because you're going to need something to take out these bombers, because these bombers will wreak havoc. It also gives opportunities to dive bombers, not as much as the other map though. The other map, I think down the streets, dive bombers will be very, very useful. But in this, because it's much more open, it's designed a lot more for the medium bomber. And because the map is quite small in general, at least compared to stuff like Kursk, and even the Polish map in a way, since the Polish map has a lot of unused areas, then it's very easy to just sit on the enemy spawn point and then force them to make a decision. So we are taking B, and about this time I will show how easy it is to take out all these tanks. So the AI tanks go into the zone. They are actually trying to move out, which is quite interesting. But let's just drop a few bombs there. There's 3 of them killed, there's only 2 left, and they're moving off. And all we have to do is loop. They're in a line. Obviously the AI pathing isn't great, but it's pretty decent when it comes to this map. But look, they just sit in a line and we can easily take it out. So if your tankers don't want to deal with them, well, you can. It's kind of as simple as that. Unfortunately, my 100 kilo was not able to hurt the Panzer IV-C, so we'll drop the bigger bastards on him and take him out. So here we go, lining it up once again, and there we go. A hit? Only a hit, okay. We have one bomb to take him out. Obviously, we haven't scored a direct hit yet, so we will finish him off. But the conclusion for it for planes is that this map is very good for planes, or at least compared to the Polish map. There we go. And I think they'll have a much larger part to play, especially with that new arcade system in play. I think we will see a lot of bombers just wreaking havoc all over this map, which may be a good thing or may be a bad thing. This isn't a map which is definitely balanced when this map is definitely not balanced when it comes to planes and tanks, but in the war, planes and tanks weren't balanced, so I'm completely fine with that. It is nice to see Gaijin making maps which are trying to balance planes and tanks, but at the end of the day, inevitably, planes are going to beat tanks. So it seems like when you kill that battalion of tanks, another one spawns, which is really, really good. That basically means that the game can just keep going and keep going. You can keep taking out the tanks, you can keep hurting them, and also it means that they can keep trying to capture points. It puts you under constant pressure, it changes the dynamic of the map, which is something that has plagued me a lot while playing ground forces. The idea that it stagnates, where the enemy team just gets into a position to defend and, well, you can't attack them. In this map, I think it's completely different. The only problem is if the red team can secure... oops, that was stupid. If the enemy team can secure fire on the... basically on that ridgeline overlooking the fields. If that happens, there's not a lot you can do. And that's just kind of a fact of life. You've got to stop them doing that. But they have lost all their vehicles, and the MiG-334 unfortunately cannot do anything with its new gun sounds, which we'll get into in another video. But anyway, thank you for watching, and have a great day.